السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. نعمتان مغبون فيهما كثير من الناس الصحة والفراغ. أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, praise Allah, we thank Allah and we send our salutations upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that we've been blessed enough to be able to have an opportunity to worship Allah again, that we have an opportunity to come for another Salatul Jumu'ah so that we can congregate for the sake of His worship, so that we can hopefully by this evening catch a special time of dua where we can ask Allah for forgiveness, and we can ask Allah for Jannah, and we can ask Allah for safety from the fire of Jahannam, and we can we can have an opportunity to ask Allah for that forgiveness and for Jannah. As many of you know, it's the summer holidays. It's summer, it's hot, it's a time where everyone is generally doing something different. No one is sticking to their usual routine. Everyone's doing whatever, they're waking up whatever time and whatever it is. The routines are not the same. And it's important that as Muslims, we should stick to a routine. We should stick to a daily plan of what we're going to do. Because without routine, then we lose our purpose, we lose our sense of what's going on. We fall behind, we slack, we get comfortable, we get lazy, and we realize that the summer holidays, 6 weeks have gone by, and we didn't do anything. We didn't do a single thing because we're just busy wasting our time. So it's important that we set ourselves a plan for the day. What do I mean by a plan for the day? For example, we know as Muslims, we have a rough plan for the day, that we have to pray our salah 5 times a day at different times. We can't pray all 5 in the morning and chill for the rest. No, it doesn't work like that. No, we have to pray, throughout the day at set times. There's a routine. There's, when you fast, for example, you wake up in the morning, you have your suhoor, you fast throughout the day. Then towards the evening, you break your fast, you pray your Salatul Isha and Taraweeh, then you pray your Tahajjud, whatever it may be, and you wake up or you stay awake until the next fast. Until suhoor, and then you go for the fast. There's a routine, there's a set way of how to do things. And it shouldn't be any different in our lives. We should have a set plan for what we do. For example, how much Quran should I read today? How much charity have I given today? Have I read Quran today? Yes, okay, check. Have I given charity? Yes, okay, check. Have I done whatever I needed to do, whatever else it may be? No, I haven't done this. Okay, I need to go and do that. But it's a plan, it's a routine that you have to check off throughout the day. Yes, it might not come exactly from the heart straight away. You might not want it right from the beginning. You might not want to be doing all these kind of things. But ultimately, the fact that you're doing it, no matter what, is still rewarding. The fact that sometimes it might take a bit of time, a bit of effort to start something. Once you start and it becomes a habit, you'll realize that this is something that you feel weird if you don't do it. If you don't read that Quran that you weren't reading before. Suddenly you start reading it, give it a bit of time, give it a month, 2 months, then one day you stop. You're gonna feel like, oh my God, I didn't read my Quran today. I need to go back and read it. I need to read double to make up for yesterday. That's the kind of impact that we want to have in our holidays. Every single day should be a day where we have a limit of what we're doing a minimum threshold of what we're doing, and we try and exceed that. We try and exceed that and do more. Because without that plan, without a rough guide of how to go about our day, then we'll lose ourselves, we'll lose our purpose. What will happen is we'll be up till late at night doing useless stuff, watching movies and playing PlayStation and whatever it may be. And then what happens is then you stay awake till Fajr. Then you pray your Fajr and you wake up at 3 o'clock and you pray your Dhuhr then, and your whole schedule is messed up. Your whole plan is messed up. That's not the right way that the day should be. Allah says, وَجَعَلْنَا اللَّيْلَ لِبَاسًا وَجَعَلْنَا نَوْمَكُمْ سُبَاتًا وَجَعَلْنَا النَّهَارَ مَعَاشًا. That He's created the night, as like a cover, as a place where we can sleep, we're safe, we can retire from all of the things that we're doing throughout the day, and we just sleep. We sleep, we replenish our energy, we revitalize ourselves for the next day. وَجَعَلْنَا النَّهَارَ مَعَاشًا. That the day we go out and we strive and we do whatever we need to do. We live. The day has been made to live and to go and do things. It's not the other way around that we sleep till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we stay up till Fajr. That's not the way it should be. That's not the right order of things. And when we have a messed up routine, we end up realizing that we end up wasting so much time. There's a hadith that Rasulullah ﷺ said, "Ni'matani maghbun fihima kathirun minan nas." That there's two blessings that Allah has given that people don't appreciate, they don't value, and it goes by, and they realize, oh, you know what? I wish I used that better. What are these two blessings? As-siha and al-faragh, meaning free time and good health. When you have good health, you only realize it until it's gone. You do whatever you do normally, and you don't think about your health. You're just like, oh yeah, I'm just doing whatever, I'm just living my life, no problem. But really, that's all a blessing that Allah has given. That if Allah chose to take one of His blessings away from you, then you'd experience problems. You might think, for example, when you have a really bad cold, your nose is completely stuffed, you can't breathe properly. Then you really think, oh, you know what, I took this for granted. I used to be able to breathe so effortlessly, now I'm struggling. That's just something as minor as a cold. The fact that Allah has given you good health, Allah has allowed you to do whatever you can do, go out and do it. Whatever way your health is, take benefit of it, because there's a good chance that it might not get better. It might get better, but it might not get better. So take advantage of it right now. Whatever your health is like, take advantage and do the best that you can. And al-faragh, your free time. Your free time is something we shouldn't waste. When we waste time, we allow Shaytan to come and whisper things to us. Shaytan will come and whisper things to us. That you might be on a break, you might be on holiday, chilling, whatever. Shaytan's not on a break. Shaytan's not on holiday. Shaytan is still active. He's still going to say whatever he's going to say. In Surah Nas, min sharri al-waswas al-khannas alladhi yuwaswisu fi sudur an-nas. That we seek refuge in Allah from Shaytan and his whispers. How does Shaytan whispers, how do they work? Shaytan, he'll try and cast doubts, and he'll try and tell someone that Islam is not real. You don't need to believe in Islam. Allah is not real. Na'udhu billah. He starts saying these kind of things. He starts getting you to believe this. And for those people that he can't get to, that he can't reach, the people that are firm in their belief, then he'll try and get them to commit sins. He'll try and get them to start doing bad. He'll try and get them to start, doing things that they wouldn't usually do. But it'll start off as a small habit. It'll be like, oh, you know what, this thing that you would have never crossed, maybe you can do something close to it, You said you would never, you said you would never listen to music. But now, all of a sudden, this person, he starts listening to some kind of nasheed. Instead of Quran, he turns it to nasheeds. Okay. It's not the worst. It's not a problem. But then he starts liking it. And then he starts listening to nasheed with music. It's okay. It's still talking about Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's okay. And then suddenly, things that have music but no nasheed, no mention of anything. But at least maybe it's Arabic. Maybe it's okay. And then suddenly, it just gets worse and worse. And you realize this person that was listening to Quran, slowly, Shaytan, dug into him bit by bit and made it a bigger problem as time went on. From Quran to nasheeds, then nasheeds with music, then Arabic songs that have no Islam, anything to it, then music itself, and then this person's full-fledged listening to music. And then they look back and they think, what happened? I was very firm. When you let Shaytan get to you, he won't make you do something straight away, something big that'll never cross your mind. That won't happen. That's not the way Shaytan works. Shaytan doesn't get you to do something so big that you're never going to do it. It's not going to happen. He'll work your way towards it. He'll gradually take you towards that darkness. And once you're in that darkness, it becomes very hard to get out of it. It becomes very hard to break a bad habit. And it's important that we don't let Shaytan whisper his things into us. And okay, the next level of Shaytan's whispers. If he can't get you to do bad, then he'll get you to stop doing good. Whatever good that you are doing, he'll stop it from you. You're reciting Quran every day, he's going to make sure you don't do that. He's going to make sure that you you are fasting on Mondays and Thursdays, he's going to make sure now you're eating every day. And he'll disguise it. And he'll tell you, oh, you know what, Allah has chosen to feed you on this day. Allah is giving you the blessing of food and whatever it may be. He'll trick you and he'll convince you into these kind of things. And it's important we don't fall for these traps. Shaytan's whispers, they're always going to be there. They're always going to be there. And we have to stay strong. We have to make sure that we occupy ourselves with things that are good. Things that are good for our dunya and our akhirah. Things that keep us busy. Not keep our minds idle, where we're just all alone, we have nothing to do, no one can see us, maybe we just do something, maybe whatever it may be. We don't want to do these kind of things. We don't want to engage in things that Shaytan whispers to us. Because these are the things that take us away from Allah. They take us from the remembrance of Allah and they lead your life. They give you a small pleasure. They will give you a small pleasure. And they'll slowly drag you down. They'll drag you down until you're so deep down that you realize, what has my life become? And this is a perfect example of the summer holidays. The summer holidays is a perfect example of the first week. Oh, you know what, I just finished school. Let me chill out. Let me play a bit of PlayStation. Let me just relax. Let me not do any studying. I don't need to worry about it for now. I've got like another 5 weeks left. It's okay. And then, okay, fine, 1 week goes by. But that's what you're doing now. Now 2 weeks go by. You have no plan to change, nothing that you're going to do differently. It becomes a thing where it just continues throughout the whole holidays and you realize, you know what, that holiday was so dead, man. I didn't even do anything. Nothing happened. It was a waste. Really, it was you that chose to waste it. It was you that chose to waste it and you that chose to do nothing with your life. And yes, I'm addressing the children here, but this very well applies to the adults as well. Maybe not so for the summer holidays part, but for the rest of the year as well. That, what are you doing with your life? Maybe you're doing your work and maybe whatever, but Islam is a religion where it doesn't allow you to sit idle and do nothing. Islam is a religion where we see Rasulullah ﷺ as our perfect example of someone who would constantly be doing something. He would constantly be doing something. And when he was relaxing and resting, it was a good thing. It was something that was seen as praiseworthy. Why? Because he did it with he did it in the right sort of way. Like for example, when he would rest his head, on his wife's laps. When he'd spend time with them, or he'd do fun things with them, like racing, or whatever it may be. These are the kind of things that we hear. He's having a good time. He's not doing anything strenuous, anything that requires effort, something that he enjoys. But at the same time, it's something good because he's doing it the right way. And we should all look at how Rasulullah ﷺ does even resting, for example. And we should rest with the right sort of intentions, the right sort of way. That I'm resting so that I can revitalize and get my energy back so that I can continue to worship Allah. But many of us, we have time that we can make free. What do we do instead? We scroll on TikTok and Instagram and we look at Reels and YouTube Shorts and TikToks and so many things. We just scroll and scroll and scroll. We just doom scroll until late in the night. And this is not right. The holidays, not even the holidays, general, as a Muslim, we should be able to limit ourselves. Everything that we're allowed to enjoy, we're allowed to enjoy within a certain limit, within a certain range. We can't enjoy things to the fullest because what will happen is you'll end up dragging yourself down and ruining yourself. If you enjoy yourself with temporary enjoyments forever, you will drag yourself down. And if you don't have any enjoyments, then you're like a prisoner. And Islam doesn't want you to be a prisoner, and Islam doesn't want you to drag yourself down either. Islam says no, enjoy whatever you want. Enjoy your food. But don't eat too much, don't eat to the point where your belly is sticking out. Don't eat excessive food where your health gets bad, and you start deteriorating and you eat rubbish. Don't do this. Islam tells you, have companionship with a woman, through marriage. It doesn't say don't do anything. It doesn't say go out there and do everything that you possibly can. It says no, do it properly, do it with one person, or be just, be fair, and do it the right way. Islam allows you to enjoy things, but it's important that we do it within the range that Allah has allowed us to do it with. So when it comes to the enjoyments that we might want to experience, we have to make sure that we stick to what Allah has allowed. And we try and increase in the good that we do. Because when we increase in the good that we do, even if it's something that's small, but it's consistent, every night we spend 10 minutes doing something that we weren't doing before, that's good. That's a good thing that we're doing something different that we weren't doing before. Something, that's going to benefit us. Maybe we read 10 minutes of the translation of the Quran. Maybe we read the actual Quran, or we went to seek some knowledge, or we went to, speak to someone that we know is in need of help, and we tried to help them as best as we can. Or we just gave our parents a phone call, or whatever it may be. Something as simple as that. Something that only takes 10 minutes of your time, but you can commit to it every day. There is a great reward in that. And it's one of those things where you see something small that you're doing, it will compound into a very big effect. After a month, 2 months, a year, 2 years, you'll realize how much you've actually achieved. You'll realize how far you've come. But it starts from when you make that first step. When you make that first step, and you hold yourself accountable. You hold yourself accountable that if you don't do it that day, then there's a big problem. If in your head you think, if you don't do something, there's no problem, life carries on. This is not the right way to think of things, because you'll never hold yourself accountable for anything. You'll never stay firm onto anything. When you hold yourself accountable and you realize, I can't slack, I have to stick with what I need to do, I have to get it done. No matter what happens, it's got to happen. I'm not going to go to sleep until I've achieved whatever I needed to achieve. You set that goal for the day, and if you haven't done it, you don't go to sleep. If you stay firm to that, eventually you'll realize that either you're doing something very good and you're consistent every day, or your sleep is getting very bad. And then you'll end up fixing it afterwards by doing the right thing. But either way, hold yourself accountable. Make it a case where you don't enjoy everything from doing, after doing nothing. It's like with children, you don't reward them and let them have whatever they want when they haven't even done anything to work for it, In the holidays, it's important that we encourage a routine. Maybe some hours of schoolwork they should do, some hours of reading Quran they should do, some hours of playing PlayStation should do. All of these kind of things, give them a balance. But make it a case of, okay, you haven't read your Quran, you haven't done any schoolwork. Why are you playing PlayStation? You shouldn't be playing this. And don't be scared to enforce certain things. Don't be scared to tell them, no, you can't play today because you haven't done whatever you wanted to do. That's not the right way to do things. You don't want to let them do everything they want to do, and then they'll realize that they've wasted their time, and you'll realize that your child's wasted their time. Everyone's just in regret at the end of the holidays, and it's just a total waste. Have a routine, have a plan, have a set way of doing things, and you'll see that the benefit that you get out of it will be great. Just imagine, if someone were to memorize 4 lines of Quran, let's say 5 lines of Quran, to keep the maths more simple. 5 lines of Quran every single day, which is not long. It's not long at all. Believe me, most of you could do this. Most of you could do this with, full concentration for about 15-20 minutes. Full concentration, you'll be able to do this. Okay? Now, in 3 days, roughly, you'll complete a page. Okay? Throughout the holidays, however long that is, 6 weeks, let's say 42 days. Okay? You'll be able to complete a very large amount. About half a juz, roughly, you'll be able to memorize. Many of us, we've learnt juz amma as kids, and we've all forgotten it. Or many of us, you ask them to read Surah Abasa, right at the beginning of juz amma. They won't know what it is. They'll just forget. They'll be like, I learned this when I was 7. I forgot what it is now. I don't know anything anymore. This is not how it should be. If you give 5 lines worth of effort a day, you'll learn a good amount. You'll learn a very good amount of Quran, a very respectable amount that you didn't know before, but you've kept some time engaged with the Quran, you've kept some time to revise it, to read it regularly. No doubt this will weigh heavily on your scales. That you did something small that didn't take that much of your time. 20 minutes of your day is not a lot of time. That even the busiest of people, if you try and prioritize things, if you try and reschedule the way I think you do things, you try and balance things so that you end up with a bit more time, you'll realize that you do have the time. You do have 20 minutes of your time. And if you don't, then maybe cut that time out of your sleep. 15, 20 minutes of your sleep is not going to cause any problems. It's not going to damage you. It's not going to make you super tired at the end of the day. And you'll realize that you're doing it for a greater cause. You're doing this as a form of jihad, as a struggle against yourself, against your desires, so that you can do something purely for the sake of Allah. When we dedicate time to the Quran and we completely give it our full priority and our attention, Allah puts barakah in the time that we have. That time that you might have spent, that sleep that you might have had, now you've taken a bit of time out of your sleep to read the Quran, Allah will make your sleep more worthwhile. You might have had, sometimes we have a lot of sleep and we still feel tired afterwards. Like, what's the point of that sleep, man? It's just a waste. I didn't even feel that good afterwards. And sometimes we have really good sleeps where it's like so short and it was amazing. It was like, well, you know what, I needed that. That was amazing. Allah puts barakah in the quality of what you're doing, if you're doing it the right way and if you do things properly. When you give time to the Quran, you give time to Allah, you do things properly the way that Allah asks you to do things, Allah puts barakah in your time. And this is very relevant to this time of the year, the summer holidays. When we have a routine where we do good things, when we encourage ourselves to stay away from the bad, when we have a routine, a plan, you can set a to-do list reminder on your phone thing where, have I done this? Yes, check. Have I done this? Yes, check. Okay, I haven't done this. Okay, let me do this now. I've done that. Yes, I can. You can follow it. You can feel like you've done something throughout the day. And by the end of the holidays, you'll realize, you know what, that was actually okay. I did a good amount of fun things. I went out, I did whatever I wanted to do. I spent time with my friends, I did whatever I wanted to do. I stayed, connected to the masjid, to Allah. I stayed connected to my school where I didn't slack. You'll be on top of everything. And how? By just giving 1 or 2 hours a day of something that you might not have wanted to do initially, but you just stuck with it. You just trusted the process. You just did a couple of hours of whatever you didn't want to do. You just did it for a few, for a few weeks. You'll realize that the benefits at the end of it will be massive. Why? Because most people don't do this. It's easy. It's so easy to dedicate 1 or 2 hours of your time, especially when you're not doing anything. It's so easy to dedicate that time towards something that is going to benefit you, even if you don't want to do it. Just stick with it. Just do it. Afterwards, you have the whole day free. 24 hours in the day, spend 4 of those hours doing something you don't want to do that will benefit you. That's 20 hours to do whatever you like. But you have to get those 4 hours done. If they're not done, then you'll realize that at the end of it, it will just become a waste. But you'll realize at the end of it, when you have done everything, you'll be looking back and you'll think, you know what? Most people didn't do what I did. I did it, and I'm in such a better position compared to everyone else. You'll be at the top of your game. You'll be the best out of most of the people around you, and you'll realize that your time is productive, and you'll have barakah in it. Your time will have barakah, that what you could be able to do, normally in a week, when you've done something by reading the Quran first, by giving Allah time, Allah put barakah in that time that you might even complete it in the time of maybe a morning instead of a whole week. Really, you're saving time. You're saving time. You're staying away from things that distract you. You're engaging in things that are going to take you closer to Allah. Allah will give you goodness. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. That Allah will not waste the efforts of those people that do good. So go out there and do good. Go out there and strive, and you'll see the fruits of your effort. They'll definitely come. But it's all about taking that first step. So may Allah allow us to be productive with our time. May Allah allow us to stay steadfast and to stay away from things that take us away from His remembrance, and to guide us towards those things that He loves and those things that will grant us Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen wa akhir da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.